right? I've applied to about 500 jobs in Russia.
What?
And I'm not capping. Like,
Wow.
I'm not capping.
Hi, my name is Joyce Busola and I'm so glad to have you on this channel. Today I have an amazing guest with me, but before then, please subscribe to my channel if it's your first time stopping by on this channel. On this channel, we share everything lifestyle and about living and schooling in Russia. So my guest for today is Miss Quinto Abimbola. She's a sister, she's a friend. I've known her for quite a couple of months here in Moscow, and her story is one that I believe many of us can resonate with or can relate with, especially for foreigners, or especially Africans that are moving to a city like Moscow for the first time. All right, Quinto, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I mean, it's a good Friday, sunny.
When you said it's a good Friday, you know what came to mind? Like Easter.
Oh no, like it's a good Friday afternoon actually.
Yeah, it's really sunny in Moscow right now. How are you liking the summer weather? You came in winter, I believe.
Yeah, I came in November, so that's like beginning of winter. Yeah, so I mean it's been summer. I feel like I actually prefer the winter weather, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like sweating. I don't like things being sticky on my body and all of that. So the fact that the summer is pretty hot, I mean it's not a favorable weather for me.
Interesting, guys. Winter in Moscow is, will I say, it's not extremely cold.
Is it not?
No, it's not, compared to, like, I'm coming from a place that was a bit colder.
Yeah.
Just a bit. There's not so much difference. Let's say like in Moscow we get maximum minus 26, minus 40. We had
minus 40 during Christmas last year.
Wow, okay, I don't remember that, but that's like kind of temperature we have back in Arkhangelsk. Like, yeah.
Okay, maybe because I think Sevastopol is actually cold. I think because it's like a bit, I don't know, I think it's in down south, but I'm wondering why it's that cold, because even during this summer I went to Sevastopol and it was pretty cold and I wished I took a jacket along.
Yeah. All right. Sevastopol, by the way, is a street here in Moscow. Yeah. So you came from Nigeria last year. What did you study before coming here?
So I studied Eastern International Studies in Nigeria, Osun State precisely. It was a 4-year program in the College of Liberal Arts.
How interesting. So I believe you finished from arts class in
secondary school. Yes.
Actually, there is just a stereotype that they have for art students. They used to say that they are the dull students. I hope that has changed, because I don't know like what's happened.
Am I not dull? Okay, no, I'm not dull, but I mean it's still the same thing, because you won't find parents saying that, oh, don't go to arts class. Even if you go to science class, they will tell you, oh, you have to do medicine, you have to do engineering. So
yeah, there's usually that stereotype, but I hope that actually changed. So what happened after bachelor's? Why did you, like, what was the process between bachelor's and coming to Russia?
So 2018, like I said, I finished my bachelor's degree, right? And
first of all, 2018, where was I? I was in my 4th year of medical school. Medical school is a scam, like I tell you all, okay? It's a scam.
So I finished 2018 and I went for my National Youth Service. That's like a compulsory military service in Nigeria. And I finished in 2019. So after 2019, I moved to Egypt for a program. I mean, I'm not the bookie person that people think I am, but yeah, I went to Egypt for a program, and then when I finished my program, I came back to Nigeria, and then COVID started in 2020. Yeah. So I started processing my master's degree program since 2020.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's the trial for 1 year or 2 years?
Yeah, but it wasn't to a school in Russia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was applying to other countries, and funny enough, I applied to like about 15-16 schools. I had about 5 admissions, 2 scholarships, but then COVID, and then they didn't issue visa. I mean, I had a fully funded program in Germany, but then they didn't issue visa.
Wow. COVID did a lot. COVID did a lot. Wow, that's really interesting.
Yeah,
so
pretty much.
How did you now choose Russia when you had so many options?
So why did I choose Russia? I mean, this is actually one of like questions I get a lot. Why did I choose Russia? So I mean, I was already at the verge of giving up on applying for a master's.
Okay.
I mean, I was already working with University of Warwick, and I'm like, oh, I'm already making my money. Why not just sit back and just enjoy the money and do other things? And then I was on YouTube one day, and I saw this guy, Tochi. I saw Tochi, and then Tochi. So I just commented on Tochi. I was like, oh, do you want to come to Russia and all of that? And then he introduced me to HSC.
Wow.
So I just gave HSC a shot, and that was because, like I said, I'd already gotten they were not issuing visas to countries that I got admission, and then other schools were denying me. They were like, oh, I don't have a particular school actually even told me that they cannot afford to sponsor me because I have a lot of experience in research. I'm like, that's not even like enough reason for you to give me rejection mail in the first place. But yeah, so I had rejection mails from a lot of schools, and Russia was like my
only hope at the time.
So I gave it a shot. I'm like, even if these guys don't give me admission, I'll just stick to my research work. And
wow, that's really interesting. I think that's just the essence of listening to people's story. Many of us, like, we've come here through various routes. So actually hearing yours, like a YouTube video actually, did that. I think it goes to say that, even as little as a YouTube video has an impact in people's lives actually, because this is a life-changing decision you had to make. Like choosing somewhere to come to. That's actually a major decision in your life.
Right.
And in a YouTube channel actually. So it's your cue to start your YouTube channel today. Joyce said it. Thanks. Don't, if you are thinking about making money off
actually I think I was talking to a friend and she was like, the goal of a YouTube channel is not like to make money.
Clearly not.
And for me, it was to document my life here in Russia, because I was already doing that on a private Instagram page.
Okay.
And then my siblings were like, you're just sharing to the two of us. Why not just take it? Why not just take it to the YouTube channel and you see people listen to what you have to say?
Yeah, that's also like where mine started from. It was just, okay, actually at the time, 7 years ago, Russia has a lot of negative stereotypes on the media,
right?
And that's why it's important for people like us to actually share our stories, so you know what the real life experience is. Okay, so let's talk a bit about your admission process. By the way, Quinto has a YouTube channel, and on her YouTube channel, she shares her experiences, like she said, about living and schooling in Russia, and you should definitely check it out. I'm going to leave it in the description box. So click on it, subscribe, and make sure you tell her, Joyce sent me here. Okay, I don't have a gift for you, but yeah, please do that. Thank you. Okay, so what's your admission process like?
So I started my application process to HSC in March 2021, and I mean, like I said earlier, it was just like to give masters like another chance. And I applied. I made it was, and the requirements were very stringent. Like, it was very demanding. I mean, because HSC does not accept 2-2 graduates.
Okay, that's news, but guys, HSC does not.
They don't accept 2-2 graduates, so you have to have something to offer. You have to have a lot of things to bring to the table. So if you have a first class or a 2-1, it's easy for you to bypass those requirements, right? Because they were not made compulsory. But then there are points for these things, which means if you have these documents, you get admission, and then you are entitled to a scholarship in HSC. So they requested for internship. They requested for internship certificate. I had that, the one I had with the UN office. Then they said if you have publications, I attached publications that I had. Then they there were a lot of documents they requested for, and I had all these documents. So I just attached them to what's it called, and I just kept my fingers crossed. And I think
came through.
2 weeks after, they sent a mail that I've been scheduled for an interview. And at the interview, let me tell you something about the interview. Nigeria being Nigeria, internet. So I was at the interview, right? And we're already talking. Then they asked the question. 2 things. I was happy that thing happened. The network happened, because I didn't have answer to the question. And I mean, it was not like I didn't have answer, but I mean, you didn't need to have. Sometimes these questions like run out, like you don't get have answers on the spot, and the network went off. I'm like, okay, so I already moved. So I was with my friend. I was at my friend's house, and then she was like, "Oh, Quinto, why not just try logging again if they will still be there?"
Okay.
And this was like 15 minutes after the network thing went off and hot. And then I came back on the Zoom call, and then they were still there.
Oh.
They were still waiting. And then I asked, I'm like, oh, why did they wait? They were like, oh, because they felt I had something to offer.
Wow.
And they listened to me. And then she was like, oh, that's interesting. That I look like I know what I want. That even regardless that I didn't have a very good result for my bachelor's, that I had something to offer. I'm like, okay, so I even thought they were trying to bobo Misha because
You're Nigerian.
I'm Nigerian. So 2 weeks after the interview, they sent me my admission letter with scholarship and with a discount. Yeah.
Interesting. Go over to Quinto's channel. On her channel, she shares step-by-step details of how to actually apply by yourself. This is no agent fee, just apply by yourself. So go back to her channel, subscribe, and also mention that you came from Joyce. Okay, so let's talk about how many months now in Moscow have you so far? I think it's about 10 months.
Yeah, I've been in Moscow for 10 months.
Yeah, for 10 months. And how's that experience been?
I mean, moving to a new country, there's always the ups and downs of moving to a new country, especially a country where you don't speak their language.
Right.
Especially a country where, I mean, there's stereotype in the media spaces. But I mean, we've been pulling through with the help of
Don't call my trumpet.
She said I should not blow a trumpet. But yeah, Jess has been very helpful. But it's been ups and downs, to be honest.
I can definitely relate to that. Although I've been in Russia for longer before moving to Moscow, but I think Moscow is a different ballgame entirely. So you mentioned that they've been ups and downs. What has been the most difficult moment for you since you moved?
The most difficult moment, to be honest, was when the exchange rates did.
When we started under sanctions. Under sanctions. Mm-hmm.
That was like the most difficult part, because I feel like if the sanction did not happen, a lot of things that had gone through would probably not have happened. Because the exchange rate went up, but then I was still receiving the same amount of money from home.
Yeah.
And then they were like amounting to like literally nothing. So
yeah, so many people have actually asked me what's the situation like for students. Although about 3 months ago I did an interview with some students. At the time we just started living under sanctions, but right now 5 months into it,
I think really we've adjusted.
I think we've adjusted,
and we're not trying to just go with the flow. And survival mode. And I think that things are actually getting better.
Yeah.
Right. Because imagine when like the dollar went to 43 rubles.
Please, let's not talk about that.
Because I'm like, okay.
Yeah. So the most difficult part for students has to do with exchange rate, receiving money from home, and the exchange rate, especially students that receive their money in different currencies. It could be dollars, it could be naira, or whatever currency.
Right.
And then the current exchange rate, ruble has gained some value and dollar has depreciated here. So that has actually been like a major struggle. So if you're a student considering coming to Russia, of course, schooling is going on well. We are going to talk about schooling now. Schooling is going on well. But the major challenge is still the exchange rate, receiving money from home. Our cards are blocked. Basically, you can't use the card from your home country here in Russia, and vice versa as well. So tell me, have you been able to get a job? Have you been applying for jobs, or are you actually working?
Am I working? I'm working, but I'm not working in Russia.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're working remotely.
I'm working remotely.
Did you try to apply for jobs here in Moscow?
So I think I've applied to. It might sound funny. Okay, it's not funny, but right. I've applied to about 500 jobs in Russia.
What?
And I'm not capping. Like,
wow.
I'm not capping because, like, I feel like even the HH.RU, and this is because this is my applications on HH.RU right now because I've applied to other websites. But I've probably not gotten a job, and if you get a job, it's either Sales and sales here is shady, let's be honest, except you don't have the fear of God. Sales here is shady. I'm not judging anybody, but yeah, sales here is not the sales you do in Nigeria, right? It's not the kind of sales we do in Nigeria. And English language teachers will tell you don't speak good English, or you are not a native English speaker, that you have accent, you have this.
Yeah.
So it's just been a whole lot. And then I just said to myself that why stress myself? Why just try? Why do I keep trying to apply to Russia when I can apply to like jobs outside of Russia? So I mean, I applied to a job outside of Russia and I'm working.
Wow. I had to take like a deep breath, because I've gone through most of this process with her. I know what it's like applying for jobs and getting rejection emails. That's just one thing I think we need to spell out. Moscow, yes, has a lot of opportunities, but if you are just coming in, that first 2 years, honestly, I think you should either be receiving stipend from home, or you should be working remotely, or you should have a hand skill. Maybe you are making hair, cooking food, or doing something else that you can use to like sustain yourself. Okay, so you're in your final year of masters. How does that feel?
It feels good. I want to tweet. I had to tweet about today birthday. I said it feels good to introduce for me to be introduced as second year master's degree student.
Yeah. How was first year for you?
So my first year was literally an interesting phase, because I had to learn, I had to relearn, I had to unlearn a lot of things, because things were taught back in Nigeria are totally different from what I was being taught here at IAS School of Economics. Research, the way I was taught research back in Nigeria was different from how I was taught research here. So I submitted a paper my first semester, and my professor said, "Oh, this is a good paper. This, you explained the way it's supposed to be explained. You worked so hard on this paper, but your referencing style is not the right way to reference this particular style you're using. So -2 points."
Wow.
And -2 points literally means that I had to move from an A to a B minus.
Wow.
B minus is 60.
Wow.
So I had to
Very
move
low.
so from 80 to 60 literally, and I was sad, but it is what it is. But then from there you learn, and then I just changed my mind to stop using APA as a referencing style. I moved to Chicago, which has been very easy for me since then. And you just have some funny lecturers come and do some fun. The same lecturer actually just being cheesy with his grades actually, because if you look at my grades, only his courses I have like 6, 7. Every other courses I had A's, and by me it's been good. It was a ride which I actually enjoyed, because my Russian classmates are very helpful, because at a point I was like, you know what, I cannot just do this on my own. So I started reaching out to them, and they were very helpful. Sometimes I reach out to them like 12 a.m., 1 a.m., and then they respond like almost immediately. So they were very helpful. And there's also a Nigerian in my class called Blessing. Blessing also was very helpful in my first year, which I wish I had like connected with these guys earlier. So if you're coming to Russia, right, to study, do not focus on meeting your people. Focus on meeting the locals, because they are always very helpful.
So you heard that. Tip number 1, when you are deciding to school in Russia, don't try to find. No, I won't say don't try to find, or we won't say don't try to.
No,
find.
we'll not say don't try to find.
But the locals are always great help.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Russian. First of all, let me put it to a test. Привет. Why are you laughing?
Okay,
Как
so
тебе зовут?
Меня зовут Quinto.
Okay. Ты откуда?
Yes, Nigeri.
Okay. Guys, I just asked her the very basics. I asked her what's her name and where is she from. But I'm going to leave her to explain to us what she has learned in 10 months of coming to Russia. Did you try to learn Russian online before coming?
So yes, I think I was more serious about learning Russian when I was still in Nigeria than when I got here. Because when I was in Nigeria, yeah, actually, now that's the question. Because when I was in Nigeria, I literally take like classes from a particular YouTube channel.
Okay.
And I think the only reason why I've not been active is because school, my first year was not. It was not. Yeah. Yes, I had classes 6 to 9 p.m. I had papers. I had exams. I had research. So I just focused more on my
Passing.
school. Yeah, I just focused because I had a target for myself.
Yeah.
So I just left Russia aside.
Because you didn't need it.
Yeah, because I didn't need it. Because if I was supposed to be studying in Russian medium, I would have done PADFAC for a year.
Yeah. So safe to say that you actually don't need to have a good knowledge of Russian to actually live in Moscow.
I think you need a good knowledge of Russian to live in Moscow.
So how have you survived without the language?
You know, the funny thing is, not like I know the language, but when they are making and like gestures, when they are like, when you ask someone about, so for instance, I say, oh, sorry, please, I'm going to this place, and then maybe I meet an old woman, then she starts saying, this, you know, like what does it say? Yeah. So when they start doing their hands and all of that, I know this is what they are saying. So
with sign language, you can survive.
You can survive.
Don't take this.
Actually, don't do that. Don't do that. I don't know. Yeah, learn if you can. To be honest, I think I don't know the language, but I think if you speak some things, I probably can pick one or two things from what you were saying. This yesterday, someone in my hostel was speaking to me in Russian, and I'm like, "Nie, Truski, no." So it kept on. So I just tried to like pay attention. So he ended up like asking for salt.
Just salt, and you just do like that.
Because I could not speak English. So I ended up. So I don't know Russian, but like I can pick some words and help out.
Guys, don't just
learn. Now I'm actually even on doing. I'm on a 12. I'm on a 14 day streak. I'm on day 12 now. So
how's that going?
It's been going on well. I'm able to like identify some words. Like when you say "kagdela," that's how are you, and they say where is that Gidier something. Yeah, I'm able to like learn some basic things.
Okay, I don't know what I would say to her, but 10 months living in Moscow, living in Russia, you should definitely have gone to some extent. But also, she didn't do PADFAC, that is preparatory school, where you learn Russian language for about 8 years. So
Russian is not easy. So I went on a walk with someone in the evening on Sunday, right? And I was like, oh, so is it like what English or Russian? What is easier for her to learn? She said she's Russian. But if she was an English speaker, I don't think she would try to learn Russian because Russian is hard.
Yeah, Russian is absolutely difficult, but it's doable, it's learnable. She always says that because I've been here for 8 years, that is the reason why I have some prowess of the language.
Yeah, because you also did PADFAC.
Right. Yeah, okay. So we've talked about one of your most difficult moments. What has been like the moment that has made you happy the most, or your happiest moment? What's been your happiest moment since you moved to Moscow?
I think it's finding a family here in Russia, to be honest, which is church.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be religious, even though I am, but I'm very church family oriented. I like it when you share the same value with certain people, and since I joined like AGCC, it's been very good for me. I look forward to going to church, but until that was like until many months ago, I looked forward to going to church, and you meet people where you laugh together, where you share your burden, and when you have a pastor that also has a listening ear.
Yeah.
I think going to church, to be honest, has been like the highlight for me.
Okay. So, what's the plan for your final year? Do you plan to stay back in Russia? Do you plan to maybe do your PhD? Or what's your plan going forward? Or you want to go back to Nigeria?
I think that is why it's my plan. I think that's why it's my plan. But right now, I don't know. I have a lot of things planned out, mapped out, and they're like option A, option B, option C, option D.
Right. You should always have options. Yeah.
So that's why they're my plans actually.
Yeah.
So I have like 4 plans right now on my whatever list, and I'm trusting God to either make one of them happen.
Yeah. So is Moscow a place that you would like to stay in? Like actually live?
To be honest, if I had a good job, and even by good job, say if I have a job that is paying me like 50,000 rubles, I'll probably stay back in Russia. If I have a good job, I mean, 50,000 will not do what I need to do because you have you.
But you take care of your basic.
My basic needs. Yeah. I'll be able to probably set money. I'll set money home, do some certain things. If I get a job, I'll stay back in Russia. If not, my other plans.
Yeah.
But getting a job in Russia is not even my plan. But if God says, "Oh, Quinto, you're not done what I asked you to come and do here," and it provides a job, I will stay back. So
yeah, Quinto, thank you so much. I'm so glad that you were able to show up on my African story series today. Like, hearing your story is actually so beautiful, and I believe anybody that is planning to come and study has actually picked one or two things, from this interview that we've had. So before you go, we are going to play a little game. Okay, so it's a trivia. I'm going to be asking you some questions about Russia, and you tell me which is true, which is false.
Okay.
All right.
Let's go.
So, Russia has one of the world's longest railway. True or false?
It's true.
Why?
I mean, I can't remember where I read that, but they do. Look, considering the fact that they have a lot. Even in my hostel, like, you see the rails connected and all of that. So I think it's true.
She's definitely right. Russia has actually the world's longest railway is in Russia.
It's in Russia.
Yeah. It's the Trans-Siberian Railway that extends from Moscow to Vladivostok. It's a total of 5,772 miles. That's a lot.
That's a long one.
Yeah. Okay. How many active volcanoes does Russia have?
Does Russia have volcano?
Of course.
Oh. Maybe one or two.
Wow. This girl clearly doesn't rate this country.
No, I know. I think actually rates them. That's why I think they don't have a volcano.
They do.
They do. Interesting.
Yes. So Russia actually has 12 active volcanoes. I also just found out about it. And like the most interesting one, it's actually in Kamchatka. It's one of the commonly visited places that has active volcanoes due to its accessibility. It's easily accessible. So yeah. All right, Quinto. Thank you so much for coming over to my channel. So you all go over to Quinto's channel. We have a very interesting video also relating to life in Russia. You should absolutely check it out. I'm going to put the link in the description box. I believe by the time you are seeing this video, that video is also going to be out. Alright guys, until next time.
Thank you for having me, Joyce. It was nice doing this with you.
Yeah.